Live and start recording on the blab. Here we go. Oh, nope. Didn't have the recorder set up. Hold on. Here we go.
I'm Jay from the Starling Tribune, a podcast member of the Gunny Geek Network, just like the one that you're listening to right now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all other podcasts at gunnygeeknetwork.com and get ready because geekiness starts in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe podcast. This is podcast number 95, discussing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 3, Episode 4, Devils You Know. This podcast is recorded on Wednesday, October 21st, 2015. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix, and the general Marvel Comic Universe.
Because Ward ruins everything.
If you'd like to talk to us about how Ward ruins everything, you can visit our website, legendsofshield.com. We have a voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube by searching for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we have forums available at forums.gunnageek.com. Or if you have a smartphone, you can search for Gunna Geek on the Tap a Talk app.
Tap that app. Hey, today on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to be talking about our Marvel Secret Wars crate giveaway. We're going to be talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Devils You Know. We're going to be talking about not one, not two, but 3 separate comic book reports on the Marvel comic universe. We're going to be talking about your weekly Marvel news and your feedback. Just a little reminder for those of us live on Blab, go ahead and tell a little bird on the left-hand side. It's a little blue thing. Go ahead, tweet that we are live. We would appreciate that very much. So, we have a Secret Wars crate giveaway, don't we, Haley?
Yes, we do. If you'll remember, the thing you had to do to win the awesome Secret Wars crate full of Secret Wars goodness is tell us what you think would make another awesome crate for Marvel to put out.
And you can tell us on anything. Doesn't matter. You could do an iTunes review, although you're going to have to tell us who it is. And 5 stars would be great, too. And you could tweet us. You could Facebook us. You can email me, StargatePioneer@GunnaGeek.com. You can contact us on all our ways. Voicemail line, that would be or voicemail, that would be great, too. And I said last time that I was going to do a live unboxing. So here it is. And I am going to do the unboxing live here on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. on our Blab. This will be so great. So if you're not on Blab, you're missing this. And you will be sorely sorry, but you can go ahead. First of all, it's a little patch, Marvel Collector Core patch and pin. There are in all the boxes that I've received so far, so there you go. This is my box, by the way. There is another box that has been anonymously donated to the cast. So I will send that out. Ooh. Secret Wars comic with Funko Thor.
I really like that cover.
Yeah, pretty cool. Oh, and there's usually a t-shirt, and this one comes with a Secret Wars t-shirt, yes, with a Pop Funko figure on it. Again, with...
also Thor.
No, that's not Thor.
Thor.
No, it's
Falcon.
Falcon.
It's Falcon. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Falcon
I
cap.
think mine had Thor on it.
Yeah. Oh, and there's 2 regular size Pop Funkos.
Pump fuckos.
Pop Funkos.
Oh!
So this is mine. I get Thor, Lady Thor. Looks like Lady Thor. That might be real Thor. I don't know. The hair.
Well, in the original cartoon, the theme song did say he has hair like a woman.
Well, he's got eyelashes too, so That's why I said it was.
Are you saying that men don't have eyelashes?
I have a genetic defect. I have a double row of eyelashes. So yes, men do have eyelashes, and mine
Seriously?
bug the crap out. Yeah, I'll take a
Wow.
selfie close by. But yes, I was at the doctor one time with my son, and the doctor looked at me and said, "Your son has a genetic defect." And I was like, "Oh my gosh," because we were in there for a heart issue in the beginning. I'm like, "Oh, what is this going to be?" And then the doctor said, "Yeah, come here, look." And I came close to her, and then she looked. She put the microscope up to her, the magnifying glass up to my eye instead, and put the light right in my eye, so I was blinded. But she said, "Yep, you have it too." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, now we're both going to have surgery." And she said, "Yeah, you got a double row of eyelashes." So I was like, "Oh,
So you have the most innocuous mutant power ever.
that's right. I am a mutant." And by the way,
Mutant and proud, dude. Mutant and
mutant and
proud.
proud. So yeah, there we go. An exclusive. It's a Spider-Man Miles Morales. There you go, Pop Funko figure. So these are mine.
Those are cool.
And if you're just a close friend of mine and you happen to be gaga over them, you might end up getting them. I don't know. Because I have
And
limited...
Paige and Sean on Blab said, "What about here on Blab?" And I take that as if they give their opinion on Blab, does that count?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. So, because I have to go back and get it later. So, go ahead and give it to us on voicemail or Twitter or whatever, and that would be great. So, thank you very much, Sean. And
email, anything.
there is a comment about my nice S.H.I.E.L.D. polo, and after the episode this week, it's for sure that directors of S.H.I.E.L.D. can be directors without a tie. So, I was able to go polo. And this was actually a gift from our fair friends over at In Defense of and GPR. Yes, Kier and his fair better half sent it to me. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I really like it. That's why I'm wearing it. So there you go. Did we get your contest entry last? I think we did, Starcy. Didn't we talk about it?
I have no memory of this, but it was over a week ago. So
Contest entry. Are you talking about for this contest or the other one?
I wasn't here last week.
This contest.
In what form did you send it? Was it a voicemail, a tweet,
An email
carrier
to me.
pigeon?
Yeah, but you sent it to me how?
If it was by carrier pigeon, it might still be on its way.
That's true. Email. Okay, so if you
Email.
send it via email, I will get it. So thank you very much. Adam, yes, StargatePioneer@GonnaGeek.com. Go ahead and email that, and I will definitely get it. So I'll get with you later, Adam, to tell you if I indeed received it or not. It is ringing a bell, but thank you for reminding me. I will check my email for that. All right. So that is your Secret Wars crate giveaway. We did the unboxing here. You saw what was in it. It could be yours if you tell us. And you got to make it funny, too. It's not just like, oh, I would like Thor in the next one. No. Make it funny. Tell us what you would like to see in the next Marvel crate. The one that they haven't announced yet. The next one after that. So go ahead, do that.
So we'll go ahead. Spoilers. This is what the next crate is. It's villains. So don't do that one because that's already one.
Right, exactly. So we're going to give this away next week. So like Adam, make sure you get your entry in soon, and we will be giving that away next week. I say we, but it's really up to the ladies because they outvote me. So, but if there's a split between them, then I get to decide. But normally they don't split. Normally they're pretty on point. So there you go.
We just want to make sure that you don't get to vote. That's why.
I never do. Never do. All right, so we saw an episode last night, and I saw it again today. Did you guys watch it last night?
Yes.
Yes, of course, we're talking about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I almost said Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., and in my mind it was like, no, it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I keep mixing them up. I want to say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when I talk about the podcast. I want to say Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. when I talk about the show, and I can't seem to help myself. So always, if you hear me talking about one or the other, you'll hear me pause, and it's because I'm like, okay, which one am I saying right now?
Everybody does that. Absolutely everybody.
It's like the Sky Daisy thing.
Yeah, everybody that's heard of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. says that. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. So thank you very much again to Wing, Operator, and Beef for naming the podcast. You did such a great job. Matter of fact, I believe Marvel would actually be ripping that off right now if they didn't have the rights, if they actually had the rights to it, which they don't because Wing does, and we lease it out to Wing on a yearly basis, just so you know. Wing is the man in charge. So if you get sued, it will not be from me. It will be from Wing. There you go. All right. We do have the episode. It was a great episode. It was titled Devils, You Know. And yes, there was a lot of devils, a lot of devilment going on. Of course, this month of Halloween. It was directed by Ron Underwood, who, if you take a look at his IMDb, he's a gun for a hire. He's been on a lot of different things. He hasn't been really focused on one project. He's done many, many projects, although he does have 9 episodes of Once Upon a Time. He has 5 episodes of Grey's Anatomy. I don't know why Grey's Anatomy keeps on popping up. It just doesn't seem like it'd be a natural move over to a comic book show, but
I think it's because it's just been on the air for so long.
like
It's one of those things where you eventually work on it.
Yeah.
Right, and he's got an episode of Desperate Housewives, Burn Notice.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No,
You're kidding me.
No Ordinary Family, maybe? I'm trying to...
No. The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Oh, there you go. So,
oh my God, one of the worst movies of all times. But he did do this. So
there you go. Okay, and it was written by Paul Zbyszewski. Oh, I butchered that, and I practiced beforehand.
You did it so well before we recorded.
Zbyszewski. Yes, I even looked up how to pronounce it. Zbyszewski. Okay, it's written by Paul Zbyszewski, and I'm absolutely certain that Jeff Loeb hates me because he keeps picking these people out that I cannot pronounce. So thank you very much, Jeff. Yeah, there you go. At least I know how to say your name. And the only reason I know it is because I've heard it a billion times. Loeb. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he is got quite a few episodes behind him lately. Lost for writing Hawaii Five-0, Daybreak. So he's got some chops to him. And also, he is listed as they all are, a co-executive producer of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So,
sorry, I can't get over Pluto Nash guy. I just
Ron Underwood.
I know it takes us all a while before we build up to actually being good at stuff, but Pluto Nash, man,
he's got Tremors there too. City Slickers, Tremors.
Nash.
Well, he's got some good ones too.
Oh my God, that was.
Well, what have you done that's in IMDb? Come on, don't throw stones until you have something that's in IMDb. Come on, Lauren. Come on. Forgive him. Go ahead. It's okay.
I mean,
everyone has to pay their rent.
I know everyone has to pay their rent, but Pluto Nash. Oh man. Oh God.
Lauren, everyone poops.
This guy pooped Pluto Nash, though.
Especially on the Crimson Comet. All right. So I didn't have a chance to say this before. I will say this now. There is an open seat, or will be an open seat in our Blab. There's 3 of us. Blab has 4 seats. So after the credits, if you have something to say about the episode that we have not covered, go ahead. Come on. We would love to hear from you, and the seat will be open then. Until then, though, we are going to discuss this episode. So I have to say, I called it with Simmons meeting somebody on the other side of the universe. I'm absolutely positive that that is what's going on because she has no interest in Fitz whatsoever. I see you both agree with me. That is good. Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's something that obviously went on there, and there has been something that's changed definitely between them. And
do you think she's still human?
No.
Yes.
Interesting. The girls split. I said they never split. They just split. That is interesting. Okay, Lauren, why do you think it?
Well, initially we saw, I've been thinking about this for a few weeks, and I really wanted to bring this up earlier, but then I was sick for like 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, when we saw the obelisk, goosh out like that, it was in the presence of somebody with inhuman DNA. And when we saw it do it again, it was in the presence of, that exiled Asgardian guy. So I think that...
she has the inhuman gene.
I think that she has the inhuman gene. And I think that whatever she saw on the other side maybe caused her to question if not her own existence or something like that, something related to that.
Okay, I think actually the same thing. I thought you meant, is she not human anymore? I think she's what she always was, but I do think she had the Inhuman gene before.
But you think she's transformed?
No.
Okay.
I think she's still what she was before. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she's gone through Teragenesis. I don't think she's gone through that.
Because she
But
hasn't had access to the fish pills yet.
No. No fish face.
But, okay, I keep having this passing thought, and then I'm like, no, I don't think that. But I keep having the passing thought, so I have to say it. She could have had a kid over there, but I don't think that happened.
Yeah, no. I think that whatever happened there, I'm not sure it had to do with another person. I think it had to do with an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it was, whatever it was something big enough that her curiosity must have overcome her fear.
But
at
why,
least partially.
But why is
in
she
terms
not
of wanting to go back?
But why is she not telling anybody else? Because that is the biggest S.H.I.E.L.D. failure I've ever seen. Bobby should have informed Coulson of what was going on. That is
well, it was something that she felt comfortable keeping from him.
Yeah, I think whatever was, it deals with her, which is why I think that she has Inhuman DNA, because I think that it must be somehow related to that, and thus it's intensely personal to her. And she doesn't want them to know, especially given how, Inhumans are dangerous she was at the end of last season.
Maybe, but I would have to think that Coulson would have to know what's going on in his own organization. So Bobby, as
We've seen
S.H.I.E.L.D.
that is not the case.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
not true.
but Bobby, as a S.H.I.E.L.D. employee, should be telling Coulson that there is something going on with Simmons. She wants to get back. She's doing research to get back. There was something that happened to her.
But at the same time, Bobby, having recently been through her own horrible experience, having been tortured, is also, she also has something that I think she's maybe hiding from Coulson. I think that we're going to see her go out in the field way before she gets the okay from Coulson. And I think there's going to be a lot of people hiding things from Coulson this season and going off on their own and doing stuff because they don't agree with what S.H.I.E.L.D. proper is doing. Like, you see Hunter right now going off and doing his own thing. And while he did sort of have the okay from Coulson, he's really... this was a terrible idea. Can we agree that Hunter's idea was terrible?
It was
Yes, he ran off half-cocked.
Yeah. It wasn't even a third of a plan.
He ran off full-cocked.
It was barely 11% of a plan. And
it was way less than that.
Yeah. And
nice pull.
I think we're going to see Bobby just absolutely convinced that she can go back out in the field. Whether or not she's capable of it, we'll see. Daisy, right now, we're seeing her forming her own team without the say-so of of Andrew.
I think she and Mac are both going to do something just because they don't think they should be working with Atku like Coulson wants them to.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think that they're going to think that this teamwork thing with Atku is BS, and they're just going to charge ahead.
There's something... On the surface, I want to believe in this spirit of cooperation. However, there is something going on because they were driving around in circles, whether it was biding time or they were bait for Lash, whatever. They were strung out there, and who's that Colonel guy? I can't remember the lead of the strike teams. What's his name?
Okay, I need to pull him up. I just keep thinking
Colonel
of him as
Bad
that
Guy?
Welsh guy.
Yeah, Colonel Bad Guy.
I keep thinking of him as that Welsh guy because the actor is Welsh.
So he was going off to do something, and there was this hush-hush conversation between President Rosalind, and I will always call her President Rosalind, even though she's not, but I will call her that because of the combination of BSG and the fact that she told the president what to do or what to say or whatever. Okay, so she and this douchebag, major douchebag guy, as Starsaber said in the chat.
Banks.
Okay, so Banks, they're hush-hush doing something. So they're doing something under the table. And And also, Aku has a point. You're going to bring us to your secret base? Can I have a ride on the cool new plane? I mean, okay, a full spirit.
This is the problem with this type of cooperation with somebody you don't trust. Cooperation requires a level of trust. And I don't trust Atku, which, okay, this brings me, the reason I was like going, right now while you were talking is because this brings me to a theory that I kind of alluded to when I was live tweeting. I think that Banks, Major Douchebag, is Lash.
It could be.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Okay,
I thought that as well, yeah.
Because when we see Lash going through his de-werewolfication in Shadow, he's bald. He's a male figure, and he's bald. And we get kind
Could
of...
they sit well?
It's hard to tell that from the shot.
Oh, that would be amazing.
He lives!
Well, we're
He
so
lives!
But yeah, he's bald. We get this kind of... But on the other hand, I was talking with Scott about it before, like while we were eating dinner. And on the one hand, it makes sense, and on the other hand, it makes too much sense.
Too obvious.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, Adam,
Because it's like you want to dislike this guy, and it makes a lot of sense for Atku to be, the bad guys. So
Adam in the chat brought up Andrew could be Lash, and the only thing I have against that is that why would Andrew want to kill other Inhumans? He's actually trying to help them as his human self. So why would he flip over and try to kill him?
Because Lash in the comics is a judge, and he's like, these guys aren't ready yet. So he could see it as like some sort of weird form of protection when he's in his, werewolfed out Lash form. That could make sense too.
It could. I think it's not going to be as nefarious as it appears. However, I mean, he's a bad guy. He's got to be stopped. What he's doing is not cool. Not cool.
Yeah,
at
what
all.
he's doing isn't cool. But the more I think about it, the more I would really like if it was Andrew. I think that, oh my God, I really like that
He
theory.
would, and maybe that's why he left, was because he became Inhuman. Oh my gosh, that actually makes sense now. It's not you, it's me, because it's really me.
It is really him.
And he would have survived that assault at the end as well. And
I already figured that he probably survived because the shoes seems like a fake out. And plus the guy who initially shows up, I was like, oh, that guy seems out of place because he's way too well dressed. So I figured that going by the shoes, it was probably Andrew. When Scott and I were talking, we were like, well, I mean, he's probably, first of all, he's hanging out with S.H.I.E.L.D. And second of all, he's hanging out with May, so he's got to pick up some ninja skills. Like a little bit of a funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
But
oh, I totally thought of that too, by the way.
If he's actually Lash, that would be a billion kinds of amazing. Oh my God, I'm really rooting for this now.
Now, he could be Inhuman and not Lash. I mean, that could happen as well. But it would make so much sense because they're out in Maui, right? And where did that Terrigen Mist actually appear? It was out in the Pacific Ocean.
It appeared in the Pacific.
Yeah, so...
And, okay, it appeared in the Pacific. He left May. It's not you, it's me. He's going after new Inhumans. And he's like, where did this one come from? And he seems really offended by it, which you could take as professional concern, but you could also take as new person I didn't know about what's going on.
Yeah.
I was not informed about this, so I really like this theory.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that mean then all of the ones that S.H.I.E.L.D. has taken in are the ones he found worthy? Because he hasn't killed those ones.
Oh,
No, he
interesting.
hasn't.
Well, that's assuming that
I like
Andrew is
that.
Lash, and I'm not making that assumption. I am just making the assumption that he is
Well, yeah,
Inhuman.
but we're playing with this theory. We're
Yeah,
running
okay.
with it.
Going by this theory, I would say that yes. Those are the ones that he has found worthy. And yeah, that would be why he didn't kill Daisy, like Cajun Sean just said in the Blab chat. Because she is worthy. She's awesome.
Wow.
How can she not be worthy?
Now,
She's the Avatar.
so now I'm going to have to go back and watch and see if the shadow lines up with a silhouette of Andrew.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so excited about this theory.
Wow. Adam pulling off a big one. That's why we have him.
Oh,
Thank you very much,
go
Adam.
Go Adam.
Okay. Now, how did everybody like the term detective for Bobby? That was pretty cool. I mean, I know they were just pulling it off, but they just rolled with it. It was really cool.
I really dug S.H.I.E.L.D. doing CSI.
Blue is for biological.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Blue
B
is
is for blue. It's for biological. Come on, it's obvious.
We've got a system.
And it's funny because working in labs, everybody I know has weird systems like that.
Right.
It's like everybody has their color-coded thing. Everybody has their particular vial shape thing, and it's stupid little things like that to try to keep you from cross-contaminating. So that was one of the more realistic things in the episode for me.
Red is for recycle, and then regardless, that was just great writing. I should have that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else you guys got for the episode? What's really jumping out at you?
Oh, geez.
There's other evildoers out there to catch.
Okay.
Yep.
This isn't really a big plot thing, but I was giggling the whole time when Bobby goes up to Sim and she's like, somebody was really concerned about you. And I was like, Bobby was really concerned about you.
There you go.
Because apparently I ship Science Baby and Science Babysitter.
There you go.
And also, I really, really, really love Daisy and Mac running around having adventures.
Daisy.
I do. I really like them paired off.
Daisy
Yes.
has turned into one heck of a bat because I was watching her in
Right?
my second watch on the assault on Fry, the computer IT guy, his house, and she was confident. She had deliberate movements. She put her gun. She knew how to hold her gun. She put it away professionally, and then she always has the reserve gauntlets.
Yes. I love her costume right here where she's busting in. She has that awesome tactical outfit and the gauntlets, and it's just so cool. The costume designer I know is on Twitter, and she's amazing.
She's become such a badass.
Right. I keep thinking back to when I couldn't stand her originally the first few episodes, and now I love her. That's good writing. Good writing, Marvel. Good writing.
So you're Chloe Bennett. You've been cast 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago for this role, and you have no idea what's about to happen to your life. That is just, it's like, what's her name with Star Wars too, by the way.
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. Yes.
I mean, it's just, you're cast for this role. You're cast for Star Wars, so I mean, you're obviously going for something that's cool and everything. So it's not a fair comparison, but it's like you don't know the magnitude of what you're about to do until it actually shows up on screen, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. So that's great. All right.
Yeah, just
So
babies.
right. So what is the shipping name that we should give Coulson and Rosalind? Because they obviously have some sort
Coulsalind.
Coulsalind? That sounds like
Price
Sakova.
cold.
Price cold.
Yes, Adam in Blab Chat just suggested the bosses.
The bosses, yeah. Both heads of secret organizations. You got that thing going on. Yeah.
Rawson, Siskage, and Sean.
All right. So yes, keep those names coming in. We'll have to decide on one.
I'm sorry, it still doesn't measure up to Felinda.
No,
Felinda
no.
forever.
And she comes back.
Yes, May is back.
She comes back. And am I interrupting anything? And they're both looking at her like, oh crap, what just happened?
It was like they're arguing. Then also they'll cover.
So that was funny. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
Haley,
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and once again, Ward ruins everything.
He does.
He does.
Oh,
He's the
friggin'
worst.
Ward.
Ward definitely. Oh my gosh! And he's deliberately okay. So he's obviously reeling from the fact that they made him kill his girlfriend, and he is got this dedicated plan. This wasn't a happenstance. He was going after May's ex-husband deliberately, which again leads me back to I think the hit on her dad was intentional, but okay, maybe not. But definitely this hit on Andrew was.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it was
100%
premeditated. Oh, did that room, by the way, that they were in look familiar? It kind of looked like the back in season 1 where all the writing was found. That room.
Yeah, it looks like every third warehouse on the show.
Right. It's like an Arrow. They all have the same warehouses and whatever.
Yeah,
And
I'm playing Dragon Age 2 again right now. And one of the complaints about that game was all these areas look the same. It's just, all the loot is in slightly different locations. And I feel like to a certain extent that's TV shows. It's like, okay, how many times can we shuffle around the set to make it look slightly different?
yeah, and we mentioned it before. The cargo bay of Zephyr 1 is obviously a rehash of the cargo bay of the bus, and they just modified the set a little bit, and there you got it. And we still haven't seen more of the bus. It's like, come on, I want to see more of the bus.
Well, they're not living there like they did on the first bus.
And they should. Yeah. They so should. Because I would.
They're like, no more planes. Get out of the RV.
They're probably waiting for May to come back to pilot it. That's probably what's going on.
Okay, they didn't do this in the TV show, but in the Walking Dead comics, they talk about how, everyone was riding in this RV for like a year, and it just reeked to high heaven.
It would.
Yeah. Well, first of all, they would be pooping in the RV. And
not all the time.
Rule number one of an RV is don't poop in the RV.
That's the bus.
I mean,
That's
not unless you're hooked up to a septic tank and can empty it regularly.
Which, I mean, you could empty it anywhere. It's the apocalypse. Nobody's going to care.
Well, you've got
but you're still
human body odor, too.
And I don't
from
think
the zombie apocalypse living in a confined space.
And I don't think you have running water, so.
So we got that lake place up in Wisconsin, and the neighbors next door had this 30-year-old RV trailer, and they tried to give it to me for like $2,000. And, it would be nice to stick the kids in there or whatever, but I just opened the door, and the whiff of... now, RVs have a specific smell. This was not an RV smell. This was like 1,000...
this was like meth and possums?
It was like it's been a hunting lodge for X amount of years, and they just rebuilt their cabin, so they don't need it anymore and whatever. And I was intrigued. I was like, okay, maybe. And then I was like, no. So yes, an RV after a year with everybody sleeping in it is going to stink. Absolutely. All right. So what else you got, Haley?
Nothing, because I have no notes this week.
No notes.
Which means no quotes either.
No quotes. That's why we have the link for the wonderful
the transcript. Okay, let me just read the whole transcript real quick.
Why not? That'd be cool. Okay, Lauren, what else you got for
previously on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Don't you mean Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Did I say the wrong one?
No. You said the right one.
Okay.
I was trying to lead you to the.
Since I have actually said the wrong thing on the show before, I just got really paranoid.
You're talking about the king of saying the wrong thing.
Talk Science Babies, talk Science Babysitter, talk Daisy and Mac. I can't help but like Rosalind. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. Like, she's quippy. I like that.
She is. She knows what she's doing, but she also has secrets, and that's what makes me dislike her, because I like Coulson better.
Yeah, I like Coulson better, but it's like right now she's a well-written antagonist, and I like that.
I like that Daisy keeps...
She's a fun antagonist.
I like how Daisy keeps calling her Dragon Lady.
Yes.
You know what we didn't talk about is the guy that was working with Lash.
Oh,
Fry.
Yeah. Fry.
Yeah, it was an interesting power. Like, he couldn't stand to be around other Inhumans. That was
weird. It's like there's several X-Men who like Caliban, who he can tell when there's a mutant around, and it's like that, except you get a horrible migraine instead of just being like, oh, there's a mutant around.
Some weird seeping wounds.
Yeah, I've spent the last week watching Monsters Inside Me on Animal Planet, and he looked like an episode of Monsters Inside Me.
So, Lauren, you haven't been with us in a couple of weeks. Where do you think this series is going to be at the mid-season finale?
I was actually talking about that at dinner. Mid-season finale, I think, is going to involve Simmons and her weird planet. I think the Lash thing is going to be revealed before then. And I think that it's going to involve Ward and Hydra.
Everything involves Hydra. Hail Hydra. Okay, so in
Nail Hydra.
Nail Hydra.
Which I was totally expecting her to say again, but it didn't happen this episode.
I know, right?
It was
I'm going to be very disappointed if they don't use that at some point.
It was the closest that we have come to that in a year. That's how close it was. I was like, oh, we're going to get... Oh, no. Okay, so on Twitter, Lauren, you mentioned that you had a theory, and it might have just been overcome by events, but you and Mr. Sithwich have a theory. So what is that theory?
We actually discussed it. Our theory was that it was Banks as Lash.
Okay.
And we have thoroughly discussed it now.
All right.
I didn't want to actually say it on Twitter for risk of spoiling people who hadn't seen the episode yet. But I figure if you're listening to this, you've probably seen the episode.
You should have by now, yes.
Or you don't care about spoilers, so.
Or you don't care about spoilers, so haha.
Okay, so we will open up the seat after the credits if you have something to say. So stay tuned with us, and we will get you then. In the meantime, I just want to say, if you like this content, we're part of a network, the GonnaGeek.com network. There's a lot of podcasts, a lot of geeky articles on there. One thing that I want to point out to you is if you're a fan of sci-fi, you might have heard that the show Defiance was canceled. And that means my podcast, Voices Defiance, is going into the darkness unless there's a movie or something that pops up later, which probably we
Netflix
don't.
picks it up.
Yeah, we don't anticipate any of that happening for Defiance. Continuum's got a better shot than Defiance, and Continuum also had its last episode in the last couple of weeks. So if you want to hear all about our take on the cancellation of Defiance, the final episode of Continuum, or where we think sci-fi should go in the future, go check out Voices of Defiance number 47. It is out now. And if you have something to say about the cancellation of Defiance or a thank you to the cast and crew of Defiance, go ahead, send in a voicemail. I will put it onto the end of that podcast, and I will repost it. So there you go. And we appreciate all the support that we have gotten over the last couple of years on that. Sean, Shannon, and I really do. So there you go. We have some amazing comic book segments coming up.
Do it.
Yay.
Woohoo! So if you're listening to this show, we obviously care about S.H.I.E.L.D. We have somebody looking into the S.H.I.E.L.D. comics. His name is Adam. We like to call him Black Adam. You can catch him on Twitter at @StarSaber_222 on Twitter. And here is his weekly segment.
This is Consultant Black Adam, and this week I'm digging into the S.H.I.E.L.D. archives to look at Secret Warriors number 2. This issue was originally published March 4th, 2009, and was a continuation of the Nick Fury Agent of Nothing arc. The issue was written by Brian Michael Bendis and Jonathan Hickman, with art by Stefano Caselli. The issue starts with a flashback to the Skrull invasion. Baron von Strucker chooses to destroy Hydra's underwater city, killing 15,000 people to purge Hydra of Skrull infiltrators. Back in the current time, Strucker is beginning to reassemble Hydra's leadership to rebuild the organization. Meanwhile, Fury finishes briefing Quake and her team on Hydra's infiltration of S.H.I.E.L.D. We also spend some more time with Quake's team, getting to know the various heroes that make up the team: J.T. James, Yo-Yo Rodriguez, Sebastian Druid, Jerry Sledge, and Alexander. I'll be back next week for a mission report on S.H.I.E.L.D. issue 11.
Thank you very much, Adam. That was great, and I can't wait to see S.H.I.E.L.D. number 11. I actually saw it drop in my Comixology. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till Black Adam says something about it. So what do you think, Lauren?
I really need to go back and read Secret Warriors, especially because of this season. I've been going back and rereading some stuff. There was a few sales on Comixology, including, I think, 1 through 6 of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I've been poking through those over the past couple of weeks. And yay, comics!
I really like those S.H.I.E.L.D. Issues, and I can't wait to read this number 11. And I really would like to go back, especially since all the Quake is being brought up in Secret Warriors. So that is awesome. So I will be checking that out for sure. And next, we have a little tidbit, a little snippet, just a little bit into X-Men by our very own Lauren.
Hey X-Men fans, this week's X-Men comics was pretty light. The only real sole X-Men title was What If Infinity, which was what if the X-Men were the sole survivors of Infinity. The writer was Josh Williamson, the artist was Mike Norton, and the art was pretty good. The story itself was X-Men in space, and I really liked the cast. We had some fan favorites like Cannonball, Armor, Husk, Chamber, Rachel Summers, and then we had some appearances from the survivors of the Avengers, led by Black Widow, who, in my opinion, looks a lot like Mara Jade from the Star Wars comics. And it's a fun little story about, these two teams meeting each other in space. Not a lot to it, but there's not a lot of the what-if stories that really have a lot of meat to them. All in all, it was a lot of fun. If you like these characters, it's worth checking out. And that's it for this week. See you next week. Bye.
See, next time, I gotta remember to get my little playground puppet so that I can actually make it look like someone's talking while I'm just sitting
That's
here.
great. And I've been watching the Muppets. I'm current on the Muppets. It's like the one show I'm current on besides S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow, and I love it. And that just reminded me of the Muppets. I know it's different, right? I know Muppets
I
are
used
different.
to actually want to be a Muppeteer when I was a kid. Like, I made my own little puppets out of socks and rags and stuff. And then my mom would throw them out when I wasn't looking.
Aw.
Are you guys watching the Muppets at all on ABC?
Yes.
Yeah, it comes
Yes.
on before S.H.I.E.L.D. right at 8:00 on Tuesday nights. Did you see the episode last night?
No, it was the Halloween stuff here.
Okay, well, I guess it was last week when Fozzie Bear was shooting the T-shirts out into the crowd.
I saw that one, yes.
Yeah, that was great. Loved it.
Yeah.
All right, so if you haven't seen the Muppets, go ahead and do that. And thank you, Lauren, for telling us about the What If. I really appreciate that. I just learned about What Ifs last week on the long box edition of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., which you can get these same segments on that podcast. So if you're just interested in the comics, go ahead, get Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. long box edition. You can hear all these great segments, including the next one, which comes from Neil with his Mighty Marvel moment.
Hi agents, Neil here with your Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition Marvel moment, covering the new releases from October 14th, 2015. Okay, we're into the second week of the all-new, all-different Marvel Universe, and the new titles just keep coming. But have no fear, there's a bunch of fantastic Secret Wars titles wrapping up their arcs, and even a pre-Secret Wars title that is just hitting its last day's issue leading into the Secret Wars event. Marvel, that's not confusing at all. So what are we waiting for, gang? Let's get into it. This week, let's start with the pre-Secret Wars title first, as well as some titles that fall outside the standard Marvel continuity. First up is Ms. Marvel number 19, Last Days. This issue finishes off the first run of this relatively new Marvel character, and instead of a massive battle in the face of the Incursion event, this is a true character-driven issue, with touching realizations and reconciliations that bring a heartfelt conclusion to this standout series that introduced the world to Kamala Khan. Deadpool vs. Thanos number 3 is the penultimate issue in this 4-issue miniseries, and in this issue, Deadpool and his sidekick Thanos journey down to Hell, to the realm of Mephisto, as they continue to try and track down what happened to Death, who is still missing in action. And trust me, the ferryman Charon is in for a bit of a surprise when Wade Wilson mistakes him for Mistress Death. And also, from outside the standard Marvel continuity is Marvel Universe Avengers Assemble Season 2, Issue 12, which continues the Avengers animated series in this all-ages Marvel XD title, as the Avengers face Thanos, who now wields the full might of the Infinity Gauntlet. As with the rest of the Marvel XD titles, the art in this book is identical to the animated series, and if you're a fan of the animated Avengers roster, then this family-friendly book will be right up your alley. Okay, time for some Secret Wars. Civil War number 5 finishes this great Secret Wars series with the war between the Iron and the Blue reaching its climax as She-Hulk and Iron Man race to reveal the true foe. Writer Charles Sewell's characterizations of a battle-worn Steve Rogers and Tony Stark really made me feel for both sides of the conflict. And when they together realized what it is that truly makes a hero, it reminded me of why comics continue to transcend genres and remain a great medium for storytelling even after all these years. A-Force number 5 wraps up another Secret Wars series, and it's definitely my pick of the week this week. With co-writers Marguerite Bennett and G. Willow Wilson wrapping up the A-Force storyline in the prior issue, all that's left for issue number 5 was to give us the most epic battle of Secret Wars yet. Jorge Molina's art was beautiful, and it was amazing to see almost the entire lineup of Marvel's fantastic female superheroes in one title. I want to call out all the amazing little vignettes from page after page of beautiful art, but instead, I'll just tell you to go and pick this issue up for yourself and take your time. There's a ton to take in. And finally, Marvel Zombies number 4 finishes the story of Elsa Bloodstone beyond the shield wall as she faces off against both her mysterious nemesis as well as zombie Mystique and her band of walkers in a bone-crunching final showdown. While a couple of parts of this book did leave me scratching my head, it was a satisfying end to a Secret Wars series that came out of left field to quickly become one of my favorites. If you haven't been reading it, definitely check out the trade when it comes out in a couple months. Okay, that's it for Secret Wars this week, so let's dive into the all-new, all-different Marvel Universe. First up is Guardians of the Galaxy number 1. While last week I reviewed issue number 1 of the Marvel XD Guardians of the Galaxy, this week we get the main event as part of the true Marvel continuity. Joining Drax, Groot, and Rocket are Ben Grimm and Kitty Pryde. And while the art was definitely nothing to write home about, writer Brian Michael Bendis nailed Rocket's tone, as well as the characteristic tone of the Guardians franchise. I love this first issue, and it's definitely going into my pull list. Also out this week is Sam Wilson, Captain America number 1, which has been in the news lately as this issue deals with real-life topics like illegal immigration. The use of parallel storylines by writer Nick Spencer was handled well, but Daniel Acuña's art felt a bit inconsistent in places. All told, this first issue didn't pull me in, but then standalone Cap titles have never really been my thing, so I'm going to take a couple of issues before I make a call on this title. Hot on the heels of the Giant-Sized Avengers issue 0 last week is Uncanny Avengers issue 1. While this Avengers title is the one that I'm most excited for, this first issue left me with mixed emotions. The conflict on this team of Inhumans, mutants, and superpowered humans did give it a certain edge, but the bits of humor stopped it from becoming too serious, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Also, having Deadpool on the team brings some classic chimichanga goodness to the writing, but I think the creative team needs to experiment a bit to find out how to use Wade Wilson effectively. All New Avengers number 1 also dropped this week, and while the lineup of Wiccan, White Tiger, Power Man, Songbird, Squirrel Girl, and Hulkling is a fresh take on the Avengers, I didn't feel like the story picked up enough momentum to really pull me in. While the concept of Sunspot's Avengers idea mechanics and their interactions with S.H.I.E.L.D. do have a lot of promise, this title is going to have to find its footing in what has become a crowded field of new titles before the inevitable cull takes place. And finally, 2 new Spider titles also dropped this week, Spider-Gwen number 1 and Spider-Man 2099 number 1. Spider-Gwen number 1 actually continues off from before the Secret Wars event, which is awesome, as Gwen found her footing and the creative team doesn't mess with a formula that worked, mixing a lightheartedness with classic spider tropes in a fresh new light. Spider-Man 2099 number 1 is a radical departure from the futuristic 2099 title, with Miguel O'Hara having been moved into a modern-day setting following Secret Wars. While I think DC nailed this formula when they brought a future Batman into a modern context, I'm not quite sure if Marvel's experiment has gone quite as smoothly. I should also mention that What If Infinity X-Men number 1 also came out this week, but since I passed on reading the 2 What If titles that came out last week, I decided to pass on this title as well. If you picked it up, definitely drop us a line or head on over to the Gonna Geek forums and tell me what I missed. That's it for new releases. Now let's crack open the Mylar and take a look at a classic back issue. This week's long box pick was inspired by the launch of the 2 new Avengers titles this week following Secret Wars, which reminded me very much of the launch of the West Coast Avengers title in 1984 following the first Secret Wars event. West Coast Avengers number 1 follows Hawkeye and Mockingbird as they assemble a new Avengers team in Los Angeles, including Tigra, Iron Man, and Wonder Man. Issue number 1 laid the groundwork in what would become a fun title that would end 9 years later in 1993, but similar to the 2 new Avengers issues that came out this week, there was a lot of exposition and backstory that would inevitably set the stage for the larger arcs to come. Going back to read this title gave me a renewed confidence in the new Avengers titles, while indulging in a bit of nostalgia in what was definitely one of my favorite teams from the early 80s. Again, that's West Coast Avengers number 1 from 1984, from writer Roger Stern, with pencils by Bob Hall. That's it for new Marvel Comics for this week, gang. If I've missed anything, or you want to share your thoughts on a title, head on over to the forums, or grab a phone and leave the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. crew a voicemail. Later, guys!
So those were some awesome comics that came out last week.
Yes.
Yeah, I mentioned in the chat while this was going on, but I read the Miss Marvel one and I just burst into tears and cried for a while. So it was really good.
It's worth noting that the Miss Marvel was pre-Secret Wars, so that title would be ending and rolled into the all-new, all-different Marvel universe at some point in time.
Yeah. Speaking of all new ones that came out, I also read the. Of course, now I just blank out on it. The title of which one it was, but it was the one with Wiccan and Hulkling and Squirrel Girl on the team.
Oh, that was the all new Avengers one.
All new Avengers, yes. And I liked it. It was fun. I'm mostly reading it because I really like Wiccan and Hulkling and Squirrel Girl. So yes.
Sounds awesome. So thank you to Neil, thank you to Lauren, thank you to Adam very much for giving us these Marvel Comic Universe comic reports, because without it, there's no way that all of us have any time to get all of these in. So it's just great learning about them and then picking the ones up that we might be interested in. So thank you very much for doing that. All right, we have some news ahead of us.
Yay!
All right. So we have an update on the Dub Smash Wars.
To the death.
To the death.
Or not.
No.
No, not to the death. Yeah, so Team Carter won.
Woohoo! How did that happen?
The final total was $79,808 for Team Carter going to Stomp Out Bullying, and $75,257 to St. Jude's Children's Hospital for Team S.H.I.E.L.D.
Wow.
And as a special little bonus thing, Haley Atwell and Clark Gregg are going to the show Lip Sync Battle and doing one last kind of face-off there at the end. So it's going to be awesome. I'm going to have to watch it. It's going to be great.
Many, many times.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's going to be great.
When are they going to be on?
Fantastic. Oh, geez. Let me check.
I want to say that this Marvel thing is first, by the way, because DC on their CW shows had a little thing, was it last night? Two nights ago or whatever, between a rock band, and it's like, okay, whatever, between Arrow and Flash, and this was much cooler. This was cool.
Yeah. Okay. The comic book resources article says sometime in 2016.
Oh, that's so far away.
I know, it's so far, but we'll have so much stuff to watch between now and then that when it pops up, we'll be like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen.
I hope they keep heckling each other on Twitter with Dub Smash videos.
It'd be so cool.
Great.
All right.
I love them.
So we have somebody new that is slated to come on board with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yay. Ooh. This is good.
Yeah,
casting.
Powers Booth is going to play a character named Gideon Malik,
Yeah.
a notorious man whose loyalties remain a mystery.
We don't know. Is he good? Is he bad?
I really like Powers Booth. Actually, he was on the World Security Council in Avengers.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he's one of the guys talking to Nick Fury.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Oh.
I wonder if he's playing the same character.
I don't know. I kind of hope so.
Why would he not?
That's exactly what this article asked. It's unclear if he's playing the same character or not.
Yeah, I hope so.
How many people have come back and played a different character? I think everybody's came back and played theirs.
Yeah, I think everybody's played the same character.
Yeah.
So.
Except for Sousa.
Yeah,
Because he was in
he was a
Avengers. Right.
Yeah. And I guess it's conceivable that he could play a different character because he was just, facing the shadows and you could barely see him. But I really want him to show up as the World Security Council guy.
No, let's back up with Sousa. We totally talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah,
there are actual procedures in S.H.I.E.L.D. of what to do when you time travel. It's probably Sousa from the future. He probably got sent back. It's the same character. We just didn't pick it up.
Or Sousa is an Inhuman. When he was exposed to the Terrigen Mist, his leg grew back and he became immortal.
Or he just became immortal and got better prosthetics in the future.
Maybe.
Got better.
Like he got the super awesome one, the blade one.
Okay.
Looks awesome.
So I don't know about you guys, but I was getting the I have purchased the Avengers Blu-ray. I have purchased the Jurassic World Blu-ray. And when is this Ant-Man Blu-ray going to come out? Because I totally want it before Christmas.
December 8th, just in time for you to buy it so your relatives don't know what to get you for Christmas.
No stacking
Tell them
separate
to
for
get you
you.
more Pop Funko figures.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard.
Yeah, got two of them right here. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so another thing to note about Ant-Man is I got this sent to me today. I was like, holy crap, Ant-Man just blew the box office over at China. Totally did not expect that. Totally did not.
Yeah, it's Marvel's second highest opening weekend in China ever.
Oh,
Second
wow, I'm
only
looking-
to Avengers Age of Ultron.
Did you see the
I'm
roll-off?
looking at a picture for a different article that we're going to do, and it has some people cosplaying in a theater to go watch Ant-Man, and this is some really impressive cosplay.
So let me go back to that weekend. It wasn't just one weekend; it's two, and the roll off between the first weekend and the second weekend was like $1 million. So it was like 43 million the first week. It was 42
and then
million.
42 the next. Yeah.
So no roll off whatsoever. It's like in an Avatar sort of thing. Of course, Avatar had significantly higher numbers, but that is incredible. China is just loving the Ant-Man. That is awesome. All right.
Yeah, well, and Marvel's going to try and capitalize on that audience by creating more Chinese characters.
Yay!
How's that?
I don't know. That's all they really said. That
Yeah.
they intend to create more characters.
Okay.
This is good because, well, first of all, from a business sense, it's a good thing because the article states, yes, it's an emerging market and we should take advantage of it. And yes, that makes sense. Also, yay, people actually seeing people who look like them in media. This is always a good thing.
Okay. So we have been talking about this before. The Doctor Strange casting has been very, very notorious for announcing that there's going to be a character and then not telling you who they're going to play until a few weeks later. So there is speculation now, which has deemed a no comment back from Marvel on who Rachel McAdams is going to play.
And the word on the street is it's not Clea, which is what we had theorized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a character named Christine Palmer, who is one of the night shift nurses from Marvel's Night Nurse.
Oh,
Which
another
would be a
one.
great way to work Rosario Dawson into the movie.
That'd be
That
nice.
would be cool.
Now, there is a noted night nurse, Linda Carter. Is that her name, right?
Yes.
Is she like the main night nurse or something like that in the comics?
I think there've been like 3,
Right.
but I think she might have been the first one.
Okay.
She's the first.
So there's constant speculation if there's going to be a night nurse or a nurse involved that it's Linda Carter. And the speculation is that they are going to save Linda Carter for the MCU instead, for whatever reason, instead of the Netflix shows or the TV shows. So that is why everybody's speculating that.
Maybe they're just not going to use Linda Carter because everyone associates her with Wonder Woman.
That could be too. Yeah.
Truth.
And we already know that Maria Hill is Wonder Woman. So, all right. So we had this news story, I believe, last week, in that Stan Lee and Bill Shatner were getting together to do a project. Well, they finally announced it.
Yeah. So Shatner has a comic imprint called Shatner Singularities, and that imprint is going to put out Stan Lee's next graphic novel.
Nice. I wonder how big of a staff. That's what I was thinking when I read this, because Bill Shatner, he's 80, 81, 82 now, and he's running around the country.
I think he's older than that. I think he's in his 90s, isn't he?
Bill Shatner? No.
No, I think.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Stan Lee. Never mind.
No,
Yeah.
Stan Lee is like 92.
Right. So Stan Lee's in the 90s, Shatner's in the 80s. Shatner's pretty active. He's going to cons, he's going to meetings or whatever. He doesn't have a lot of time to actually sit down and do the art himself or story himself or whatever. So I'm just wondering how big of a team that he has working with him and Stan Lee now. Or maybe he needed the team and that's why he teamed up with Stan Lee. I don't know. All right.
Yeah, plus it's, big names, so it can only be good to team up. It's like, let's get your people and my people, and then we will have all the people.
All the people. Okay, so who's slamming Captain America now?
This is probably my favorite news story of the week because I love to bathe in people's tears. Okay, so as was probably discussed on a previous long box edition, last week the first issue of Captain America with Sam Wilson came out, Sam Wilson fought these dudes who are basically Marvel's version of the KKK, the Sons of the Serpent. Fox and Friends took objection to this because they categorized the Sons of the Serpent as decent, God-fearing Americans who are concerned about immigration. That is not the case at all. Reading comprehension fail, everything fail. Just wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
You know, okay, so Fox
50 billion terms, different kinds of wow.
So Fox News started out back in the day where CNN was just taking one heck of a turn and going off a liberal cliff, right? They weren't objective at all. And so Fox came on and they said, we're going to do both sides. We're going to do the conservative and we're going to do the liberal. And they had Hannity and Combs, and it was obvious that it was more Hannity than Combs, and then it became argumentative. And then after that, they just have lost all credibility in the last 2 years. What are you guys doing? Oh my God. I see it on in restaurants sometimes or whatever that have multiple TVs. I'm like, why do you even have that on? It's not even a legitimate
because people
news.
need to be angry about Captain America. People need to be angry about Sam Wilson fighting comic KKK, who are called the Sons of the Serpent and are therefore in no way bad guys. And they're dressed basically like G.I. Joe's, Cobra, yeah, like they have the green, things. And the one guy, the actual Supreme Serpent, like he looks like some weird combination between Cobra Commander and like a gladiator. So he's totally not at all evil. And yeah, it's so far. It's so weird. I can't even be angry about it. Like I'm just completely 100% amused by it, and it's ridiculous. It's laughable. It's it's hilarious to me.
The only two things I've heard about Fox News this year has been this, and then that whole thing between Trump and Megyn. What's her name?
Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, it's like whatever. I don't care. You're now off my news list. No, thank you. And make fun of my comics. Off or change channel.
Oh, they're also the Sex Box channel, if I remember correctly, or was that?
No,
yeah, I think it was Fox, wasn't it?
No,
okay, it wasn't. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. Basically, anytime I find it funny, anytime. Okay, the one thing I will say about Fox News is they have Shep Smith, and the fact that he was so completely obsessed with True Blood charms me.
Okay. So you know what else that is pretty much being obsessed about by all three of us in this podcast? That would be the Star Wars trailer that dropped during Monday Night Football this week. And how many times have you watched it, Lauren?
Like 30.
30? Haley?
Not including the slow motion.
Did you get more than
one?
Really?
Oh.
Okay.
Been busy.
Do you have your advance tickets?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
My local theater doesn't do advance ticket sales.
I have two. I have the ones that I got for opening night that I had to go to 3 different theaters to get it because 2 of them crashed. And then the Alamo Draft House for Sunday because we really, really, really wanted the special edition magazine and pint glass.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Yeah, the pints.
I have a friend who pre-ordered her tickets for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then is hoping that she'll be able to just walk in and buy them for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Because she plans on seeing it every single day the first week that it's out.
I don't blame her.
So you were asking, how does Star Wars make $300 million in this first weekend? That is how.
Didn't you say $1.2 billion opening weekend? I think you did.
Yes.
Yep.
All the money. All my money.
For those of you new to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we have had a bet on the Gonna Geek Network. It came from the Legends podcast, but it has pervaded throughout the entire network. And we were asked 2 questions. Actually, we were asked 1 question, and there was a misunderstanding.
And we misunderstood it, so we answered
2 questions.
3 questions.
So the first question was, how is it going to do opening weekend? And the second question is, how much is it going to make overall? And it was in comparison to Avengers, because the big question was, is it going to make more than Avengers or not? And Haley went overboard, everybody thought, And the reason why is that the record for opening weekend box office was actually gained during the bet by Jurassic World at about $209 million domestic. And the biggest December opening to date is like 84 million or something like that. So that's a big jump right there. And it's because of holidays. People really don't have a chance to go to the movies or whatever. Even Avatar, which opened up around the holiday weekend, didn't do a smashing opening weekend. It just kept going every week and making about the same amount. So that was the concerns about the December opening. So Haley has the top end at 300 million for the opening weekend, and the rest of us are maybe 200, but most of us are down like the low 100s. So because of this advance ticket sellout, it's looking pretty likely that Haley, there's gonna be a shortage, right? People are gonna say, "Oh wow, I need to get my tickets so I can go see this." So they're gonna start buying them in advance where it's available, because not every place has available. So they're gonna plan out their week before Christmas here in October. It's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna make $300 million. So well done, Haley.
That's right.
So if you have a comment on how much you think that Avengers, Star Wars is going to make on opening weekend, or how much it's going to make in totality, please go ahead and get that into us at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We'll compare it to the rest of the Gonna Geek Network. All the hosts of all the podcasts already have all their bets in, so it'll be interesting to see where that is. All right. Do you ladies have any other news?
No.
All right.
Nope.
We're going to go to feedback. Woo-hoo. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that was waiting for Lauren to live tweet last night during the episode, because she definitely live tweeted, and it's awesome. If you have not picked out Lauren's live tweets on at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Twitter, go ahead while the episode is playing. It's pretty fun stuff. And she tries not to spoil stuff, so you can actually go back and read it and maybe not be spoiled. So
I try very hard to be entertaining without spoiling,
there you go.
because time zones exist.
If I'm
jobs.
If I am live tweeting, I will totally spoil. So that's why I don't do it. And Haley, she's just busy.
I'm recording another podcast. Always.
She records 2 podcasts every night, folks. She's that much in demand. All right.
Live to podcast to live.
So we had several tweets, and first of all was at Mr. Pericles, and he's responding to our episode last week, and he said, "First rule of Hydra Fight Club, Hail Hydra!" So that was pretty good. And then Richard at Kodiak GWC, he tweeted us the great Ant-Man China opening story, so thank you very much, sir. And at Jerk, who is a foreign listener, a long-time listener, no-time caller, so Jerk, you get a voicemail in. I know you got a microphone, buddy. Just email to me at Stargate Pioneer, or Stargate Pioneer at
We love accents.
Yeah, at GonnaGeek.com. And he gave us a great tweet of what arrived on his porch, which happened to be the Season 2 Blu-ray set of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Awesome.
Shiny.
Yes.
And then at David McPeaks Jr. tweeted us when Lauren mentioned that she might have a theory about Lash, and he said, "I'm going to go with Thomas Ward, or I'll just go with it's the Monolith's fault. I got nothing." So, yeah. Lots of looking into everything. So once again, we do have a contest going on, the Secret Wars Marvel box. You saw me unbox it live here, and if you didn't, go to our blab later or our YouTube channel when the video is posted. You can see that. And in order to get that, just let us know what you would think a funny Marvel crate would be. So go ahead.
Or just awesome.
Yep. And you can get that to us via Twitter, email, voicemail, iTunes review, 5-star. Just tell us you left it there. It would be great. All right. You guys got anything else in the feedback form? Everybody talk to you about, psst, hey, I liked last week's episode on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't think so.
I did get a lot of questions, by the way, of Lauren, how you actually got back from the Phantom Zone.
Oh, well, there was science involved, Lots of science. I mean, I can't really explain it. There was so much science.
Science, babies.
Science!
All right. All right. I'm going to walk this one out then. So next week, we're going to be discussing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 5, 4,722 hours. And I'm surprised there's not a minute.
Which I just calculated that.
6
That's
months.
Yeah. It's 196 days. No, 196.75 days.
Yes, so it's probably how long Simmons was gone.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm surprised there's not a minute and a second clock because Fitz knew that to the second, to the millisecond. He was calculating it in his mind. He had it. So did you guys see the previews for next week?
Yes. My baby.
Oh, it's going to be terrible. Simmons, one of the scenes that they showed was Simmons in this kind of a hot springs or whatever, and she had made a little shiv or whatever, and she had, remember at Star Wars A New Hope where the garbage compactor monster and everything? Mm-hmm. It looked like something like that was going on. I'm like, oh, that would freak me out. Totally.
My poor Simmons.
Right. So we're going to see all about Simmons next week. Do you think it'll just be a Simmons episode, or do you think we'll get some post-mortem from this episode next week as well?
I think we'll get other stuff too, but I think there's going to be a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, Simmons is going to have to come clean. And she was actually coming clean to Fitz at the end, so that was good. But then Fitz needs to tell other people because secrets go so well in S.H.I.E.L.D. For Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., you will get us YouTube account the same way. And don't forget, we have forums so you can go and discuss all this cool stuff throughout the week. Leave us some thoughts and get other people involved in the discussion that doesn't last longer than 8 seconds on Twitter. And that is at forums.guineageek.com. And you can also search for Guinea Geek on the Tap Talk app. So, like I said before, thank you, listener. Thank you, everybody that is on Blab. We really appreciate your participation, and that is why we do this. We do this for you so that we can have a collaborative environment. And don't forget, after the credits, I'm going to open the seat, so if you have something to say, come on board.
Thank you to everybody on Twitter, everybody who shows up for the live tweets, everybody who sends us news stories during the week. We really appreciate it, and you make this awesome.
Yes, and we've already reminded you, we'll remind you again, send us awesome feedback, because we've got a giveaway next week, and then we've got another giveaway a couple weeks after that, and then another giveaway a couple weeks after that. So just keep sending us in awesome feedback.
Yes,
right.
This can only go well for you.
Absolutely. All right, looking forward to all that. Until next time, I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
See you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gunnageek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.
All right, so Adam has reminded me in chat that I did not play the voicemail, so we're going to play his voicemail, and I totally spaced out. I did not put his name in the show notes, so I just ran through it. But it's on the soundboard.
Should I keep recording while we're doing this?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Adam calling in with my feedback on this week's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was nice to see the Ginger Ninja again, because she was one of those people I was hoping would be on Daisy's team this season, and who knows, maybe she will be now. Stuff between S.H.I.E.L.D. and the ATCU is still tense, and I don't see that really changing anytime soon. Though I do see things warming up between Rosalind and Coulson. And I'm not just talking about him using his laser finger, if he has one, which I don't think he does. I do think it's kind of interesting that where they're going with Lash, where he kind of hulks out into Lash from whoever he is normally. And if he hadn't been in the season premiere, I'd wonder if who he was normally was Gemma. Hunter is a reckless dumbass and just got Andrew killed, which I don't see Melinda forgiving anytime soon. Speaking of Simmons, I think this is the first time we've seen her in casual clothes as opposed to just what she wears in the lab or whatever. So that was kind of cool. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. Talk to you later. Bye.
Totally forgot about the laser finger. He totally does have a laser finger. There is definitely going to be a laser coming out of his finger.
At the very least, it's a laser pointer.
And we didn't talk about Alicia at all, the Ginger Ninja. And yes, that was awesome. That was an awesome callback. It was awesome seeing her back. And it was so sad looking with her in the crate afterwards. It was all balled up like that. And I don't blame her a bit. I do not. No.
And she literally felt herself die.
Right.
While watching her friends die.
While watching her friends die. I mean, that's a bad day. Anyway, slice it.
So thank you very much, Adam, for that feedback. I totally spaced out. It was totally me. It's not you. It's me. And I will do better next time. So thank you very much for reminding me of that. Okay. And that is it. I am going to turn off YouTube.